My name is Emma Culp, and I done book review number 2 on the book Gunfight, The Battle Over the Right to Bear Arms in America. This book is written by Adam Winkler, and due to me being unable to get a physical copy, I've used an ebook, and I printed a copy of the cover for you to see that goes along with the book. This is the cover. This book was published on July 15th, 2013 by W.W. Norton and Company, and it is written by Adam Winkler. This book is an inside look into the battle that our country and nation has over the gun rights and the gun control and our right to bear arms. This is a 4-century-long battle that is still going on today in our nation. And this book digs deep into that debate and digs into the makeup of that debate and how we've got from where we started to where we are now. This book is based off a foundational court case, the 2008 court case of District of Columbia versus Heller, and this court case deals with the banning of handguns at the nation's capital. This case, along with the Founding Fathers, the Second Amendment, the gun right lobbyists, and a variety of other things build together to build this book with a deep look into gun rights and how this is still a vast, nasty debate that our country and nation is in. The book, personally, I think is very informational, and I think that it is a good look into this topic. I read the book cover to cover, every word on every page. This book was very interesting to me because it helps me to form a new look into my perspective on gun rights, and it helps me to build a foundation to why I believe what I believe about gun rights. It opened my eyes to the makeup of how our country has got to where we are in the connection to gun rights. It talks about from where we started with our Founding Fathers to a variety of other things. The book can be a little long to read due to the fact that it is 400 pages long. The book is divided into 3 sections, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Not named anything fancy, just Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Part 2 is definitely the biggest part of the book, but the book contains 9 chapters that fit into the 3 parts. And reading the book in the parts is a good way to break up the material and to avoid becoming overwhelmed or tired of reading. It's a good way to break it up. The book personally opened my eyes to a lot of information connected to this debate that we have over gun rights and gun control and our right that we have to bear arms. I personally can form a connection to this book because I feel like as Americans, this is still a battle that we hear about constantly on a day-to-day basis. I am 21 years old and I still hear on the news, on Facebook, out in public about guns and gun rights and the rights we have as Americans to bear arms. This is a battle that people are still facing, and it seems to have worsened the last couple weeks as we've elected a new president and people are worried about their rights being taken away, or people are concerned with the rights that we already have. Everyone has their own belief on and their own point of view on gun rights, and it can be seen in the world we live in that people express how they feel about this topic, and it is a heated and controversial topic. But opening and reading this book opened my eyes to a variety of things that I knew about gun rights, but reading this book opened up the historical information that's connected to how we've got to where we are with our battle with gun rights, laying that foundation of the Founding Fathers and our Second Amendment and building on up. It helps me as a reader and as just an American citizen to build a foundation for the perspective that I have towards gun rights and gun control. And it also opened my eyes to the battle that we're still facing, because this book was published in 2013, and this has been 8 years later in 2021, and we're still having debates and concerns over gun control, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. So this really helped me to get a better look into this, because it personally does affect our lives as individuals in the world and country that we're living in now. I also think that this book is very informational and encouraging to people to develop their views off of what they read. I developed my views off of the information and the historical foundation that was laid in this book. And I can develop my views through being able to read material like this, I can see the foundation that is connected to this topic. When I began to think about a lesson plan for this book, I began quickly to think about that word amendment. And I also was connected to the Bill of Rights, which is, of course, the first 10 amendments. And as I looked through the standards, I found a 5th grade standard for the Bill of Rights. And this is what I chose to do my lesson on. The lesson would be an introductory foundational lesson on the Bill of Rights, kind of like it could be the introduction lesson to a unit maybe on the Bill of Rights. The lesson would take the Bill of Rights as a whole and kind of lay a foundational knowledge for the students to expand upon in other lessons. The lesson would begin with students doing their writing journal, and they would be asked a question, what do you know about the Bill of Rights? And students would be asked to record their thoughts in their writing journal. Following that, they will be given time to discuss their thoughts with their table people, and then we will have whole group discussion to discuss the foundational knowledge or prior knowledge that we all have about the Bill of Rights. Students will then be given an interactive note-taking guide, and they will be shown a YouTube link to look up on their individual Chromebooks. Students will put their headphones in, and they will listen to the YouTube video called The Bill of Rights for Kids. They will fill out their interactive note-taking guide, and they will work their way through the material. At the end of the video, students will then discuss with their table peers what they learned through the video. And students will be encouraged to share thoughts with their teacher that they discovered. Following that, students will be encouraged to do an interactive and collaborative project. This project will allow students to work with a partner. The partner will be selected by the teacher. The teacher would give each group a section of the Bill of Rights. The students would create a poster sticky note on their section of the Bill of Rights. So, for example, if one group had the First Amendment, that group would be in charge of creating a large sticky note that portrays the First Amendment, maybe some drawings, some information about what the amendment is, what it does for us as American people, and then they will be encouraged to share their findings with the class, and the students will interact throughout the presentations, asking questions, making comments, and it'll be a whole group discussion as well. Following this, all students will be able to participate in a review Kahoot game on the Bill of Rights, and the lesson will be wrapped up. This book opened my eyes to a lot of new things about the rights that I have as an individual, and also what happened to give me those rights, and also how some people don't feel the same way about those rights as I do. There's a huge controversy connected in particular to the right to bear arms. And I personally have read this book and have a new perspective on the differences that everyone has about these rights. You know, I always knew that people didn't agree on gun rights and gun control, but after reading this book, I feel that I can better understand the reason that there is such a controversy, because people believe different ways, people think different things, but opening and reading this book really gave me a new perspective on the foundation that I have in my beliefs and the feelings that I have towards the rights that I've been given. So this was definitely an eye-opening experience for me, that I'm thankful that I got to read this book and to form a perspective on this Second Amendment right that I have as an American. Thank you.